When you look at the pinnacle of Premier League football, Manchester City and Liverpool are the two teams that you look at in this past decade. Whenever the fixtures for the season comes out, whenever you see the Manchester City versus Liverpool game, you mark your calendar because you know that game will shape the Premier League title one way or the other. For the past decade, this game has been one of the deciders of who's going to win the Premier League. And looking at how it's shaped up now, it's also once again influenced the Premier League title race because now Arsenal are on top and stayed on top, having Liverpool in second and City at third. And that's the impact that this game has had now. And when you look at this game, once again, it is just pure entertainment. This is clearly some of the highest level of football from any team that's playing on the planet. And that's what this game offered for us. Yes, it was only a 1-1 draw, but you could literally feel the atmosphere from the screen. You could feel how tense the game was. You could see how Anfield was buzzing and raring to go for the game. How Manchester City were literally fighting with everything on their line because they know how important this particular game was for them. But alas, it was only a 1-1 draw, but there was just so much context behind that 1-1 draw. But before we get into it, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to MKB, and welcome back to Mellow Nose Ball. And once again, we have a game of Liverpool versus Manchester City, and this is a very important game regarding the title race. And when you look at the game and how it transpired, I don't think either team really worked out much with what they wanted, because I think a win for either team is what they really needed in this type of game, because that would mean they'll be top of the table. But because of the draw, they only just managed to be in third and second and kept Arsenal on top, and now it's really in Arsenal's hands, but we're going to talk about them later. However, I want to look at the game. When you look at the game in itself, realistically, I think it's really fair to say that Liverpool should have won this game. Liverpool should have won this game. Now, obviously, when you look at the first half, Man City came out a lot more confident, a lot more ready for the game, and they had plenty of opportunities, and even one of them resulting in pretty much a carbon copy of what Liverpool did against Barcelona in the Champions League with the corner taken quickly, kind of resembling that in John Stones scoring the goal from the corner, right? In that moment, I think around that time, City were kind of very much in control of the game. Yes, Liverpool had plenty of shots, but I feel like in the first half, more or less, Man City had more control over the game, but then that second half was different. That second half, Man City was shook, especially when McAllister scored that goal, that penalty. Again, leading up to that penalty, even what was Nathan Ake doing in that moment? I've been giving my praise for Nathan Ake this season. I've been saying he's one of our best defenders this season. But what he did there, putting the not overhits but mishit pass to Edison, where he had to come out of his line and try to clear the ball, but then causing the penalty and him getting injured in the process. What was Nathan Ake doing there? I just don't understand. Why would you underhit a pass in that manner in this type of situation? I guess maybe the pressure got to them. And to be honest, I think the pressure really got onto majority of City players in this game, because the amount of misplaced passes that they had, the way they were just unable to control the game in that second half, like even once they had spells of possession, like they didn't really do anything with it. And it's very rare to see Manchester City in that state. But then again, I think it's not so rare to see them in that state at Anfield, because you felt that atmosphere at Anfield. You felt that energy. Klopp was hyping up the crowd, and hell, to be honest, he didn't even need to do that, because the crowd was raring for this game. The atmosphere was insane, and you could tell because of that atmosphere within Anfield, the players were able to play at their maximum level. Liverpool were all over Manchester City in this game. They were the amount of chances they had created. Luis Diaz. I think Luis Diaz in this game was a very odd one, because I think he's one of the best performers on the pitch, but at the same time, he had kind of a bozo gene, because I think he had like 3 chances in this game. If he just was more clinical, Liverpool would have won this game 4-1, 3-1 or something, because He had so many good chances to score and he just missed them. I didn't understand that. I even on in the first half, some of the chances they had with Soberslide with the header, we had another one by Darwin Nunes, like another one where Connor Bradley kind of just hit it across goal, just hoping for someone to get on the end of it. But Liverpool genuinely deserve to win this game. And this is what I was talking about when I was talking about Liverpool are scary this season. This is what I was saying because now they are fighting for Klopp. They are fighting to make sure that this man leaves with everything. And you could see it in this game, the way they were fighting for everything. They were fighting for every 50-50 chance. They were fighting for every loose ball. I think one of the perfect examples of how much fight was in this Liverpool team was with the Luis Diaz run, where he was running on the left hand side and he had I think Rodri and Kyle Walker against him, right? But he just kept fighting and fighting over and over for the ball. And that run, he made that run eventually make it to City's box. Like he was just kept fighting for the ball over and over and over again. And that was just Liverpool in this entire game. City felt like they were completely lost in the second half. They didn't know what to do. They essentially didn't get out of first gear in that game. I didn't understand what was happening to them. I think the pressure realistically got to them, and that's very hard to say when you consider the magnitude of big game players that are within Manchester City, when you consider how many times they've been in this position and have been able to prevail. But then when you look at this game, they just crumbled under the pressure. And to be honest, that's just kind of been their history at Anfield. Like at Anfield, Manchester City have not been able to perform. I think the only time Manchester City has ever won at Anfield was during the lockdown period, where I think they won like 4-1 in that game. And even then, Liverpool had already clinched the title by that point. So this has really reshaped now how the title race is looking now, right? But even before that, I think, before I even get to that, right, there's some decisions even in this game I didn't understand. I think probably the turning point of this game was KDB leaving the field, right? I think that was probably the biggest eyebrow raising moment for every City fan in the game, because we all know the quality of Kevin De Bruyne. We all know what he brings to the game. We all know the moments that he could provide for this team. But when Pep Guardiola hooked them, we were very confused. I, for one, was very confused when that happened. I didn't understand why, because if you need anyone to give you a moment to change the game for you, Kevin De Bruyne is probably one of the best players in the world to do that, if not the best. So for me, I found that very confusing, because even when he went off, nothing really changed. Like Kovacic didn't really add much more, because usually when you put in someone like Kovacic, maybe you're putting him in for more of control in the midfield. But even then, even he didn't really provide that for us. He didn't really provide that. Jeremy Doku, I thought he provided some little spark, but even then he didn't really do much. Erling Haaland again hardly got a touch on the ball. I think he got like the least amount of touches on the ball, and that's crazy because Mo Salah got more touches than him when he came off the bench. So that's kind of the story of that's just the story of Haaland at Manchester City, really. But now I think we really need to start looking at this, and I think things are heating up in this title race. Things are heating up because now, with Arsenal on top, I think with the same points as Liverpool, and then Manchester is behind with 1 point. And this three-horse race again is heating up. And I think now we're looking at this. I think all these three teams have the capability of going on insane runs now in the Premier League. Obviously, we know with Arsenal, we're not 100% sure if they're going to be able to sustain this. But I think this season they're showing that they are here to stay. And I think now they might, I don't really see them losing a game from this point onwards, except I think the biggest game Arsenal are going to have now is that Manchester City game at Etihad. I think City obviously needs to win that game. They need to win that game, because if they win that game, I think, and considering how other results against Liverpool, because Liverpool also have a couple of big games coming up, but I think if City win that game, if they can go top, I think then they can stay top for the rest of the season. But it's gonna be difficult. it's going to be difficult for Manchester City. And I think even for Arsenal, it's going to be difficult to try and make sure that they get a win at Etihad. But I think even a draw, maybe they could suffice for them. But then again, even that, because you don't know what Liverpool are going to be doing on the other side. So this is the thing that is going to make this title race even more, because you need to make sure you keep winning. You need to win, because if you slip up, the next team is going to probably win the game and go top. So this is looking exciting. I really don't know who's going to win the league this season, because obviously as a City fan, I want Manchester City to do it. I want them to win, but I don't know. I don't know at the moment because of how things are looking. This game, for example, is really represented us this season. We just didn't look confident. Like, it just doesn't seem like the City that we know, and I don't know what the reason behind it is. Because realistically, we came into this game with an advantage. Like, I think the only player we had injured was Jack Grealish. Like, we had almost a full, strong starting 11, you know? And then you look at that Liverpool team, they had so many kids out there, a lot of rotations because of this. Salah had to come off of the bench and everything like that. But you felt like even though they had so many injuries, they were the team that were more up for this game. They were more up for it. And honestly, I thought they deserved the win. But obviously, I'm happy with the point, considering in context of how the game was going. I think as a City fan, you have to take the point there. You just have to take it. Even though we needed a win, but we just have to take that point. So, yeah, that's the end of that. I'm very curious on who you guys think is going to win the Premier League title, because now things are heating up insanely. Things are starting to look crazy right now. So I'm very curious who you guys think is going to win the Premier League. Comment down below who you think is going to be. So subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that bell for any post notifications, and yeah, we out.